Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of All Things NBA from A to Z, presented by Ball is Life. I'm Kris here alongside my main guys, Zach Noble, Albert Nguyen, and we're pumped today because we have one hell of an episode for y'all. We're doing a 25 and under draft for the NBA. Now, a couple rules for this draft. The number one most important rule is that this is for going forward. So the players have got to be 25 and under, and it's for going forward. This is a draft of the team with the highest ceiling in the future, the team that's going to mesh the best together. It's going to be 7 players per co-host. So we're all going to draft a 5-man starting lineup and 2 bench players. And yes, this lineup is supposed to be playing together. So, if Zach drafts, I don't know what to say even. If he drafts Shea and Trae Young and Darius Garland as 3 of his 7 guys, my guys are
I'm gonna
pushing
run
him.
you out the gym. You have
My
no
guys are
chance
gonna
then.
push you out the paint, man. So it'll be fun. It'll be feisty. I'm very excited to get into this one with my guys. Now, the final rule for draft order, as much as it pained me, I knew nobody would disagree if I picked a way of picking the draft order where I was last. And so I went with seniority first. So we're gonna go Albert, Zach, Kris, and then it's a snake draft, so it'll come back around. With that being said,
No, I'm excited. I'm excited to do this pod. I'm gonna keep it simple, man. I thought about Wimby, I thought about Chet, I thought about Ant-Man, but Luka Doncic is a bona fide MVP player today. And why would you not get a guaranteed MVP contender for the next 6, 7 years on your roster? So I'm gonna go Luka. Very, very simple here. He makes your team a lot better offensively. We don't have to get into the defense because he doesn't get into the defense himself. But
ah,
I think he's
There
he's
we
just
go.
the type of you know generational talent that transcends the sport. And I think greatness is in front of him. And I do think he's going to win a title or two in his career. And hopefully he makes it true. So, number one pick for me, Luka Doncic, exactly 25 years old.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think I could accept like one of 4 or 5 guys. It's that tight for me. Call me crazy on that answer, but I would have chosen Luke as well. Kris, who would you have chosen at one? I just want to know because it's the first pick. I'm not
I
gonna
know,
ask.
I know, I love this question, Zach. I think I'd bite. I think I'd bite at that 7'5" goddamn apple, and
And I got you to bite to tell me your picks so I can steal them from you. No, just kidding.
I think I would have
No,
bitten.
that's tempting, man. I didn't think about that till just now. I got you to tell me who you were gonna go with. Um, that changes things. Uh, no, I'm gonna let you have him. I'm gonna let you have him. I'm gonna go with Shea, man. The proven commodity.
Damn.
So it's it's so hard, like, because I love a couple of these guys a little more than Shea, even personally. And this is biases aside. Shea, I just think is the I think he's the best player of this group right now, even better than Luka. Two-way guy. I just think Luka's ceiling when he's at his best is better. And he's been better in the playoffs. We don't know Shea as the number one, as a good enough team to do some damage in the playoff, what he can do. And I think we're gonna see it pretty quickly. I think he's gonna go off. That's why I'm picking him here. He's a two-way guy. I think he's only getting better. I'm not too worried about the athleticism of some of these other guys. But yeah, Shea's my guy. I'm very proud and happy of that pick.
My comment on Shea and Zach, that's a great pick, is even today, even being an MVP candidate, he's second right now in terms of, odds on favorite. Jokic is one, but he's had this elite production now for 2.5 years, and people still overlook him, especially in the fourth. In my opinion, all the press that is around the Durants of the world, the Bookers of the world, that fourth quarter closing the Dames of the world, like that reputation, that should be on Shea Gilgeous Alexander. I think he's the best perimeter closer in the NBA today at his age.
He's closing. Like, he's been clutch in the regular season, and we've seen him be able to play with so many different dudes. We've seen him be good as a 2 and a 3 next to Chris Paul, or even right off the bat early in his career, taking a third, fourth, whatever you want to say he was in Los Angeles. So, yeah, I'm pretty well versed that this guy's going to be a top 5 dude the rest of his career in the mix.
Hey, I hear y'all. Shea is the guy who I almost wanted to say I would have taken. He is so good. And Albert loves him in the crunch time. And the reason is because, as better, Albert knows his money's safe with that guy, right? Like, you need someone to close out a game. That's where your money's safest. So I love that perspective. I love that pick, but I hate it because I wanted him with one of mine. I'm gonna go ahead and take Victor Wembanyama with my first pick. I kind of have to, especially because I said I would have taken him first overall. So that's a steal for me. He's off the board now. So the first three picks, Luka, Shea, Wemby. This leaves some really interesting names on the table and leaves me with a devastating choice to make here with the fourth overall pick. But because this is going forward, to me, the choice is easy. Anthony Edwards,
That's a sick 1-2,
Damn
bro.
it.
Wemby and Ant. That's sick.
Wemby
Damn
and
it. You
Ant Edwards,
just flew
the,
me up.
the athleticism and the access that those two have to unteachable game-breaking tools is close to unparalleled in the NBA with both of them. So, Ant Edwards, legitimately a 99th percentile athlete. Victor Wembanyama, legitimately Groot. I just, that's it for me. It's that easy.
God, that just ripped my soul out of my body. I debated taking Ant, honestly, at number 2. It was not an easy thing to do, passing him up. I do think he has a top 3 ceiling, as do all these guys so far. It's hard for me to say as number 1 ceiling because he's still super unintelligent at times. He's super inconsistent at
Hey,
times.
hey, oh, inexperienced.
Hey, that's a little offensive.
Inexperience. All right. That guy and the
His
angles that he knows.
athleticism and
Developing,
talent makes up for
developing.
his dude. Giannis is one of the most unintelligent players ever, bro. And look at what he's doing.
Whoa,
You
You
whoa,
could
don't
you
need to
could
be.
offensive.
you could say low feel. You could say low feel if you want to buzzword it, but I wouldn't go
Uh,
that far. Um,
Giannis is still learning how to play.
for what it's
Um,
and he's better than 99% of the
oh,
league.
yeah, he's arguably
For what
he's
it's
been
worth,
number 1 for many years.
for what it's worth, the top four guys on my personal big board have now been taken. Wemby was number one, and Edwards was number four. This
Love it,
leaves
guys.
Mr. Zach with the fifth pick up next.
Yeah, so those first 4 guys were super easy. I mean, that's like I said, that's a tier of their own. Any of them could have gone 1 through 4, and I'd been completely fine. And this is where stuff gets dicey and really debatable. So, fit matters now. Fit actually matters. I wouldn't have drafted on fit if I was in Kris's shoes. I would have taken the best available. So, here for me, uh, hmm. I'm gonna have to go with the highest ceiling and great fit, and that is yours truly, Paolo Banchero. I believe his ceiling is top 7. I'm that high on him, player wise. But I just, whoa, we got climbers here. I mean, they're saying reaching for the stars. I
I,
mean, here's the thing. The other guys, I mean, are there's guys better than him right now, absolutely. But um, the other guys, and I don't want to spoil too many names, just aren't nearly as good of a fit as Paulo and SGA. I just think their speed is what sticks out as much as anything. Defensively, Paulo is one of the best guys available here that are
Is he?
in the. I think so. Why, you don't think he's going to be that great of a defender, or he is that good now
No,
on
I don't think
defense?
he'll be that great of a defender, and I'm surprised
Really?
you didn't take the kid from Minnesota who will be. But go on.
This early? Wow. I mean, there's only 2 guys you could think of, and that's Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid.
Nope,
Uh,
neither. I'm not a kid from Minnesota, not the kid who plays for Minnesota.
okay. Okay. The Thunder Chets here. That's another, that would be a big reach for me. Paulo, Okay, I'm happy with Paulo. I'm gonna stick with it. I like their fit, and I think their play styles fit really seamlessly, in my opinion. I just the way I envision that those two, I'm happy with that pick.
Yeah, that's a 1-2 punch. Albert with the sixth
All
overall
right, so the
pick.
1-2, yeah, the 1-2 for Kris is Ant-Man, Wemby, Zach, you are SGA and Paolo. Okay, I have Luca. There's a lot of options here, right? You have Tyrese Halliburton. I think John Morant is being slept on. Um, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Luca Light. His name is Cade Cunningham. I'm gonna
Ooh,
That's
go
a
with
snipe.
Luca.
That's a snipe from me with my
I'm
next
gonna
pick.
go with Luca and Cade. I have two guys in the backcourt that are 6'7", 6'8", that can do everything, which means I'm gonna have to draft some defense later. But I love the two guys that are gonna have 90% of the ball. So give me Cade and give me Luca.
Cade was number 2 left on my big board. That's an excellent pick. Um, Jeez,
Oh,
man.
it's back to me. It's Snake, right?
You have
no,
the
no,
seventh.
All right, here we go.
Albert
Here we
has the
go,
seventh
guys.
overall pick. It's a snake draft, my boy Zach.
Yep.
don't take my
Defensive
guy. I got two
specialist.
IDs.
Before this amazing 6-week run by Wimby, I thought Chet had an outside chance of rookie of the year. I'm gonna go with Chet now. I have Luca, Cade, and Chet. Super long, very athletic, utility guys, and smart. I think all three are high basketball IQ guys. So that's my number 3 pick, Chet Holmgren.
Al, those were the top 2 guys left on my board. I mean, Zach jumped him for Paolo, which I can understand the size and the speed and the talent, but you just read me like a book. So respect, but F you. Zach, you've got the eighth pick.
Huh?
He's stumped now.
Yeah, because my pick was for sure Chet. Um, no questions about that. I thought he was gonna fall right back into my hands as soon as you said Cade. But I like the fit, and then you obviously like the upside there. So I'm torn between talent and upside here. Yeah, talent, fit, upside. I'm gonna go Jaren Jackson Jr.
Nice.
Yeah, that's I got
There's
my
there's
center.
your
I don't need
defense.
don't need to worry
I
too
think he
much
would
about.
pair really, really well with SGA.
See Paolo
Yeah.
and Jaron at the 4 and 5. I don't know if you got yours. I don't see a center, man. I don't know
No,
if you
I'm
got
cool
your
with that
center.
4-5 action, and SGA is big. Yeah, I'm very comfortable with that.
Word. That would leave me up with a double pick, number 9 and number 10. This is super tough. Part of me is tempted to go upside. Part of me is tempted to go current ability. But I've got to make it all complement, right? I've got to make it all match up. So for me personally, Anthony Edwards is going to have the ball a lot. We know Wemby is someone who, despite his insane size, is going to have the ball a lot. He can pass, he can create offense for others. And man, I'm not huge on this player compared to the rest of NBA Twitter, but I'm trying to get these votes from our listeners, man. And so to start out, I'm going to go with Tyrese Halliburton. And the reason for that is because of his ability to complement Wembanyama and Edwards off the ball. If you have defensive questions, good. He's not good on that end of the floor, but I think these two are pretty uniquely positioned to
Oh
cover
yeah,
up.
you have Ant and Wemby. That's awesome.
Exactly. So as someone who thinks, Ja Morant, Trey Young, Tyrese Maxey, even Darius Garland, amazing guards available. I'm gonna go with Halliburton for that off-ball flair, that extra ability to make the perfect pass, not just a great one. Um, and that to me is a really strong pick here. Now,
I like it.
this is for going
Would
forward.
have drafted him, Chris. I would have drafted him on the comeback on this pick, just so you would pay him less, as a fourth rounder. But semantic.
Well, this guy who I'm gonna take is getting enough endorsement money for a lifetime already. So if that's a hint, maybe. But like we were saying, guys, this is a draft for potential. This is a draft for going forward. Who do you believe in to improve, to play at an elite level? Well, there's someone still available who, if you told the NBA landscape in 2019 or 2020 even, would be available here, they wouldn't believe it. And against all of my better judgment, to play with Tyrese Halliburton and Anthony Edwards and share the front court with Victor Wembanyama, Al is correct. I'm going to go with Big Z, Zion Williamson. That is
Oof.
high upside, high ceiling, you name it.
It's a great fourth round pick. It, it's gonna what's it called? It's gonna keep him grounded, right? He's not the number one overall pick. He's not gonna be expecting anything. He's a fourth round pick on that team. People are gonna go and watch Ant and Victor, so he's gonna be good. That's an awesome number 4 option.
I love how you're building it. I love the fit and upside. I mean, if they're healthy, that's tough to beat. But you got 3 super injury prone guys in
Yeah.
Halliburton, Wemby, and Zion. So good luck making it to the playoffs, pal. Um, my pick here, I need some more firepower. I need some more upside. I don't really care about the fit here. I think just the talent's going to exceed it. Um, there are a lot of great talent fits, but I need the highest upside when I'm looking at that roster you just put out. So I'm going best available here on my board, and that would be Trae Young.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll put
Him and
Trae.
Shea, man. Holy.
And Shea's and Paolo being able to surround Trae, I think, yeah, I'm fine on the defensive end right now. Um, yeah, my 5th starter is going to be really critical there, though.
Guys, I
Why,
think I
hey,
have the
why
best.
Halliburton
Why Halliburton over Trey?
Trae for you? Yeah, why
Because
Halliburton over Trae?
Trey's the guy with the conductor's wand in his hand, man. He's the wizard of the offense. He's not just the lead guard, he's the magic maker. And I want this team sharing the ball like crazy. You get a guy like Zion as your third offensive option, your fourth best player on the team. You want a team that's going to make quick passes, keep the ball zipping around the court. That's all Halliburton.
Yeah,
12th overall
no, that's
pick.
fair enough.
That's you, Al. And 13
All
too, by
right.
the way.
Yeah, so I mean I'm biased, but I think I'm gonna have the best starting 5. You guys might have the best 6 and 7 man. Maybe I had the advantage being a number 1 pick, but just visualize Luca and Cade as your backcourt, 6'7", 6'8", huge guys. Chet Holmgren, super tall and long, lengthy himself. My 4 is gonna be Evan Mobley, so all upside, but can play everything that Luca doesn't want to do. Evan Mobley's gonna do.
That's a
So
great
I
You
pick.
needed
love
that
him as
pick.
my 4.
You
That's a
needed
great
that
pick.
Yeah, I
pick,
love him
and
as my
that
4. And I'm gonna stick with high IQ player, guys. Another high IQ player I like a lot is Franz. Franz is gonna be my number
Ah,
3.
he was high on my
So
board, man.
Luca, Cade, Franz, Evan Mobley, and Chet is my 5. May look soft, but I think they're gonna give buckets and then they play defense, so I like it.
Franz was in the top
okay.
four of guys that were left for me, so I was really high on him. Al, you've got Luca, Cade, Franz, Mobley, and Chet going forward. When Mobley and Chet bulk up, I don't know who's scoring on this lineup unless like someone like a Jalen Brunson just puts Luca in ISO all game and shoots threes. I don't know how you score on this team. That's crazy. Zach, 14th overall pick. That's you.
All
Yeah,
right.
those big names flying off the board now. Heat's turning up in this
So
kitchen, man.
Albert, why Franz there? I mean, I think you got the highest IQ team. That's what's sticking out to me about your team. I love the Mobley pick and fit. You don't need to explain that, but why Franz there?
Yeah, I like versatility there. I was thinking maybe even Jalen Williams, right? Because he's already a teammate of Chet, and he fits in really well with the superstars there or stars there in OKC. But I like Franz because I basically have 2 guys that do the dirty work, Franz and Mobley, and then with Chet's potential, and then I already have 2 kind of Luca's proven, Cade is injury prone, but I think he's proven as a talent in this league as well. So it's like a mixture of proven guys, upside guys, and fit. So I thought Franz was my 3 there, better than Jalen or even Scotty Barnes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair
that's
enough.
I mean, Franz is better today than both of those players. He's better today than a lot more players than people think. there is a case for analytics darlings that he's better than Paolo, but I'm not there because the natural talent, the ability, the defensive pressure that Paolo faces, I think evens it all out. But the debate's been there this season. Zach, I'm going to reach through the screen and rip off your headphones if you don't tell me who you're taking. I'm so anxious to know how you're filling out this starting five.
Okay. My pick was different up until a couple hours ago. Okay. There was a massive injury that occurred and it scared me, and it could be a little bit to recover. And I don't like when big men get injured. Alperen Sengun, prayers up for him. He'd be my pick here, but as a team builder who's really injury cautious, you can say, I look out for this stuff more than about most. That's why Zion was way down on my board. There's other guys though that it's been a massive debate for me, and I got a good feeling Kris is gonna take the one I don't take. So I'm trying to just decide who he's not gonna take. And so with that
It doesn't
said,
sound like you guys are taking Morant. Are you guys sleeping on him? Am I overrating him? Because the
Um,
last time we saw him fully healthy, he was a
yes,
playoff
he's a
dog,
monster.
he's a dude. He's a dude. The way this board's shaking out, I'm surprised that Zach went with Trey over him because you already have such skill and footwork in Shea that athleticism with Ja would work. But Albert, you got two initiators in Luca and Cade. He didn't make sense for you. I have
Yeah.
it was Morant was in the debate with Halliburton as well, but to me, Halliburton off the ball is so strong. So
And the size too. Tyrese is so much bigger.
Morant is falling. I think Tyrese Maxey's falling right now too.
Yeah.
all right.
Hey, 2 years
So
later, Zach has his pick.
yeah,
Enough filibustering. Let's hear it. I'm about to put you on the
Scotty
clock, my boy.
Barnes. Scotty Barnes.
All right.
Give me Scotty Barnes.
There's a pick, and now his starting five is large as hell.
It's
So
a solid pick.
there's that. For me, man, this just became real easy. I got two back-to-back picks. I have Halliburton and Ant Edwards. Okay. I have Zion and Wemby. I could bring Zion off the bench as my sixth man if I want, right? We can play these lineups however we want. Someone I know I want on this team who can provide offense with the bench unit or can start with all these other guys and would be fantastic at leveraging his strength into advantage creation, but also the skill, the defensive ability he's shown. I had this guy number 11 in his draft. I bought all the stock and I was too low on him. 11, I was called crazy for by some people, and it wasn't high enough. I'm going with J Dub. I got to take Jalen Williams here.
He's so good, man. He is so good. I love that pick
I'd
a
have to
lot.
check. I was close to 11. He was high for me. I'm not gonna say he was 11 or 9 or 13. I don't know, but yeah, I was high on him.
So with Halliburton, Edwards, J Dub, Zion, and Wemby, I have a starting five that I'm comfortable playing. You guys messed up because I get pick of the litter at Maxey, Morant, Garland, all these players to be my guard off the bench. And my gut tells me to go with the guy who I had number 8 in his draft class, despite the fact that NBA teams oh so foolishly let him and his Kentucky teammate fall into the 20s. I want Tyrese Maxey.
He's
See,
a great
that
six
was my
man.
that was my debate because I knew that you were just as high as him as me. And would you have taken Max Barnes over Maxey if he was around?
No,
How about Barnes over Jalen Williams?
no.
Oh well, I screwed up then. I just miscalculated. I thought you
But
were.
Chris just through our conversations for the last year, he's lower on Barnes than other people.
I really liked
So
him out of his draft.
What about you, Albert?
it depends. So
Scotty or Tyrese?
give me your first four again.
He's
So is
got Shea,
SGA?
Paolo, Trip J, and Trey Young.
So J Dub would fit better there than Scotty Barnes.
J Dub wasn't an option for me. It was between Barnes and Maxey. I just
Maxey as your sixth man doesn't matter which team, right? He's just gonna get buckets for you. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
all right. So
You're up
this
with number
makes
17, sir.
yeah, this makes it pretty easy for me. Got my size. Give me Ja Morant. Best available.
Stellar
Might
pick.
be the steal of the draft.
Stellar pick. Is the
He
steal of the
probably is the
draft at
steal. Yeah,
17.
he
At
probably is the steal of the
17,
draft.
I can't believe we let him fall this low. For me, it was between him and Maxey at that 16 spot. And I thought to myself, man, Morant would be so awesome at throwing lobs to Wemby, but I have Ant Edwards. I took my athletic guard angle. So now I want a skilled guard like Maxey who has that clutch gene the way Halliburton might not. Maxey could drive the boat if he has 40 that night. I'll just put him in the closing lineup.
All right. So I have my five already, and this is gonna be my sixth and seventh man. I think it comes down to a couple guards because Luka's gonna get hurt. I mean, he's always gonna miss 15, 20 games every season, and then he's gonna take off probably 10% of the games that he actually plays in. So I need another great distributor, another great initiator of the offense. I looked at LaMelo, I looked at Darius Garland, but I think I'm gonna go with scoring punch right off the bench because my front line is Chet and Franz, and it's hard to run plays for them. I know this guy's already a proven six man, and I think he's already won a six man of the year award. Give me Tyler Hero as my sixth man. He's gonna be my pick, my
Woo!
sixth guy. So Tyler Hero.
Hey now.
That's the shocker of the draft for me. Shocker
Wow,
of the
really?
draft. Yeah, for sure. Not even close.
Well, I'm excited to see how he follows this up. Al, give us your next pick so then we can talk about your team as a whole unit.
Yeah, so now I need size, because Chet is still, filling out. Evan Mobley is still filling out. Uh, Franz Wagner, I'm not worried about him at all. So I need size here. And this is not a sexy pick. And I don't know why I have so many white guys on my team, but I'm gonna go with Walker Kessler. I think he's
Wow.
solid. If he gets 40 minutes, I know he's gonna be a double double guy. But even if he gets 20 minutes off the bench, I know he's gonna play great defense and rebound the ball. So give me Walker Kessler as my seventh pick.
I would have gone
This is
Isaiah
somebody who believes in
Hartenstein.
Luke.
If you wanted a pale
Hardenstein.
center, I
I
would
don't
have
even
gone
know
with
how old Hardenstein is. I'm sorry.
25. 25 on the
Okay.
dot. His birthday's like
This
I
a
is
mean,
couple
my
days
Kessler's
after
3 years younger.
Yeah, that's fair. Mitchell Robinson also 25. And Jericho
Mitch
Sims.
would
The
be
Knicks
good.
the Knicks have three 25-year-old centers, which is funny. Precious is 24. They
I
were
rather
close to
I,
having
I think
four.
I'd rather have Lively than Jericho Sims.
Oh, that's not a debate.
yeah.
Yeah. But Mitch, I overlooked him. That's a good pick.
Zach,
I
pick
like
number
honestly
20.
Walker Kessler just as good as Mitch for what it's worth. I think that's a fair pick, but I was surprised you'd even consider either of those guys there. But that's why I love having Albert here on this show because he's just flying from the cuffs and he believes in Luke and Cade. Cade more though than anybody. You're the biggest Cade guy I know, to be honest.
He's gonna be
Yeah, I
so
like him a
good.
lot.
He's gonna be
I
so
like
good.
him a lot.
Yeah, I mean he is, and he's getting better every
Free
night. It's
Cade, get
just
him out of Detroit now and watch him flourish.
he's a Dallas guy too, so I mean he
Oh
would be very
brother.
very happy
Oh
to
brother.
get the Detroit fans all rattled right off the bat here.
You're rattling
Um,
anyone up to stall making your pick. How about that?
I am, man, because yeah, you know me, I just love all this talent so much, and I want to keep going here, but this is my last pick, and gotta deal with it, gotta ride with it. So I'm gonna
He was so
I'm gonna go
close.
Şengün. I gotta do it. I mean,
Cool.
he's the
I
best
like
player.
it.
He's polished. I just yeah hope it's his injury's not too bad and he recovers. But
Your
I could have been
smartest guy
happy
is
with
only going to get 15 minutes on that team, though. That's sad.
my
Funny.
smartest guy.
Yeah, like I'm very high on his basketball IQ.
Yeah,
No, yeah,
no,
he's
you're probably right. He's probably the
genius.
highest IQ
But
on my team.
He has Trey, man.
And SGA, man.
Oh, SGA, yeah. Your ball handling is taken care of. Um, my last pick, if I am ready to go, is easy here for me. We know wings run the world, and there's a wing left on the board. I mean, there's Tari Eason, Brandon Miller, Jalen Johnson, Devin Vassell, Jaden McDaniels. There are lots of wings left that I'm high on, but there's not a wing left that I'm higher on than the kid from New Jersey, the Patrick School in New Jersey, where Kyrie Irving went. It's JK, man. It's Jonathan Kuminga for me in this last spot because
Great pick.
Yeah.
the positional versatility, the athleticism. I mean, everyone on my team is either an out of this world shot maker, ball handler, or athlete. There is some skill that everyone on my team has that's absurd. Or even Halliburton in terms of his just court vision, right? Like everyone on my team is elite at something. And it's not really like an all-around kind of team. It's putting together guys that are really good at filling in a certain kind of role at a star level and meshing them together. So I think I needed one more wing. Lots of good choices, but Jonathan Kuminga is mine. I want to go straight to Albert. Al, I'm going to read out your team in full so our listeners can hear it. And I want you to tell us why your team is the best of the three. All right. So Al has Luka Doncic, Cade Cunningham, Chet Holmgren, Evan Mobley, Franz Wagner, Tyler Hero, and Walker Kessler. Al, why did you
White.
draft the best team? Why
Man, the
did you draft
analytics
the best team?
superstars. Yeah, those are analytics darlings there. We talk about it all the time, versatility, but I think versatility is hard to convey on a basketball court unless you have size. And all of my guys have size, which I like a lot, because that's something you can't teach. Athleticism gets a little, I think, um, I don't know, over analyzed because at the end of the day, someone that has a 50-inch vert rarely uses his vert, right? He's gonna have to be able to be agile. He's gonna be able to have to be strong, things like that. So I think my guys are just athletic as, the Ant-Mans of the world. And then the other thing that I'm very big on is just basketball IQ. And I think that's, being growing up in Dallas and having like the Rick Carlisle school of, coaching for those 10 years. I just love the way he analyzed players, especially offensively. I mean, he was very talk about Rick here. He was ahead of the curve with guys like Rondo and Brandon Wright and those guys um, before they made that big trade. But he had Brandon Wright and Devin Harris setting records offensively, right? Like it was just a crazy time, and I think because of that upbringing, if you will, that those are the type of players I want. So people that share the ball, people that like to go out and get on the break. So I like my team. I think you guys have the more the bigger names outside of Luca. I think you guys have the bigger names, the stronger guys, the athletic guys. But I think when it comes to a series of seven, a best of seven, and you gotta outthink people, I like my top seven.
Well, I mean,
Zach,
gelling and playing together. I mean, that's where you'd beat us. And yeah, intelligence. That's where your team sticks out.
oh, my team is super high IQ, man. I hate this IQ discourse anyway, but Zach, you've
True.
got you've got a
Ant, Zion,
yeah,
Maxi. I
yeah.
mean, Kaminga. I mean, Maxi's
What's wrong
IQ
with
is higher
Kuminga?
than those other guys,
All
but
right. Well,
Kaminga's is pretty low.
you're a
Uh,
hater. Listen, Zach, you've got a
I know IQ. That's one thing I know when it comes to hoops.
you've got a cluster, you know what, of talent here, but sell us on the fit between Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Paolo Banchero, Jaren Jackson Jr., Trey Young, Scotty Barnes, John Morant in the sixth round, and Alpi Şengün. Why do you have the best team, Zach?
So I think the play style is very versatile here. I like the different roles all of these guys can play besides Alperin, really. I just think the tempo can change with basically all of these guys besides Ja. Ja's the one in question. He's got one speed, and that's ultra fast. And the other guys, I feel like they can adapt to however the team needs and play at a similar tempo. I think, yeah, I love the play style fits of my team outside of Ja, but he was just a talent, um, upside play, and you can't pass that up. I mean, it's upside's way too high. One question I had for you, you said Kuminga, all your guys have an elite skill set, and I agree on all of them besides Jalen Williams and Kuminga, unless you think Kuminga is athleticism.
So
Because
for
looking at
Williams and Kuminga, it's athleticism and strength for both. I've always thought strength is an
strength for
underrated aspect of
yes,
advantage creation. 90s ball, man, just bully a guy to the rim and put it up through him. You look at Josh Hart, that guy can't shoot. That guy doesn't have crazy handles. He goes full speed ahead, drives at the rim, and flips up a shot. And despite not having shooter's touch or whatever you want to call it, he makes a lot of those off the glass. He banks them in. Those lanes are going to be open with guys like Wemby and my other big being Zion spacing the floor. Listen, I know I'm short on big men, but the one I do have is not short at all. So that's where I was at, man.
yeah. I like that. That's okay. That's a great answer. I would agree. Jalen Williams knows how to use his strength, and I'll give you that elite skill set. Kuminga, yes, I'd say that as well. Thing with Kuminga for me is, as long as Steph and Clay are there, it's going to be hard for him and Andrew Wiggins. So as long as those three are there, I don't think he's ever going to reach his full potential. That's why I'm lower on Kuminga than most. I do think he's going to continue to get better. I just think it's going to be one of those things where he needs to relocate or something needs to change in order for him to be fully untapped. One thing, elite skill set wise, looking across this, the only guys I would say that don't have an elite skill set to me are Franz and Scotty Barnes. So me and Al both have one of those guys. Would you guys agree to that, or would you put Scotty Barnes into the elite strength category? Because I'm not sure he knows how
He
to use
doesn't
this.
exactly. Even if he has it, he doesn't leverage it yet when creating advantages on the
All right,
basketball court.
then we're on the same page there.
And Franz is going to be an elite defender soon.
I mean, that's a lot higher than I think of Franz. So that's cool for me as on my team. For the way I look at Franz is, yeah, the way I look at Franz is he's just like average to above average on everything that you want
Yep.
your player to do that superstars don't do. That to me is
Always the
really important to
definition.
have a starter.
He's the
Yeah.
definition of rock solid. I mean, there's very few players you can say that are good at everything like him.
He's special. All right. I want to go through my team, talk about why it's the best one. I drafted Victor Wembanyama, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Zion Williamson, Jalen Williams, Tyrese Maxey, and Jonathan Kuminga. Talk about scheme versatility. There's nothing more important in the NBA playoffs than answering the question when the other team takes away your first look, what are you showing them, right? Teams like Boston, Miami, always make it far in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Why? They always have good point of attack defense. And I know it's not that simple, but year after year after year after year, these teams are competitive and tough, and people hate playing them because they stop you in your first action. They make you go to the weak side. They make you try your secondary initiator. Like for a team like Dallas, the shot clock is winding down and the ball's in Tim Hardaway Jr.'s hands. He's got to make a play. Now for Minnesota, the shot clock's winding down and it's Jaden McDaniels in the corner. For New York, the shot clock's winding down and Josh Hart's got to jump pass, throw it somewhere. These are teams that are excellent at closing out first options. And that's why I prioritize athleticism, tough nosed defense. You got guys like Ant and J Dub and Maxi and Kuminga who are going to dig their heels in the sand and play really, really hard and leverage their top grade athleticism in the case of Edwards, Kuminga, and Williams. To make plays. Now, Wembanyama's size speaks for itself, but his ability with the ball in his hands is really important to my team as well because he'll keep the ball moving. He'll keep the offense fresh. We can throw so many different looks at you. We can go small. We can go Maxi, Halliburton, Ant, Kuminga or Williams, and then Zion at the five, right? We can go small on you. We can go big, right? I could go Williams, Kuminga, um, Wembanyama front court and then throw something like another wing and Edwards out there. I can go small, I can go big, I can shoot, I can attack the paint, I can pass, I can
Yeah.
dribble, right? my team can do it all at a high level. These guys are going to help each other not only leverage their abilities into points and production, but they're going to complement each other and raise each other. It will be a symbiotic relationship between the players on my team on the court.
Yeah, I would say because we're picking basically a top seven or the top 21 players under 25, like we're gonna have great teams. All three of these teams are awesome, and I think each of them have distinct advantages. I think Chris's team is gonna be able to take it to the rack much more frequently and much more efficiently than us, Zach, me or you. But I think our ceilings, if we're hitting our threes, Zach's team as well as my team, I think our ceiling's a little higher. Obviously, you can't bank on threes in a 7 game series, but I wanted to throw a question at you guys, and I think this is a good pivot because we're focused on young players, and I mean that's always the what people are enamored with when we talk about the NBA, right? The next LeBron, the next Kobe, et cetera, et cetera. But if we get into the finals, let's say Kris, your team gets into the finals and they're facing the 2023 Denver Nuggets.
Right.
Name me a non-superstar swing player that would push your team over the top. I'm talking about like the James Posies of the world. I'm talking about the Aaron Gordons of the world. I'm talking about the Andrew Wiggins of the world.
25 and
I
under?
think Bam Adebayo is
All right.
on that borderline. You could tell
He's
me if he's a
26.
superstar or
He's
not. Is he?
He's 26 though. Are we saying
he's not
25
a
and under?
superstar,
No
but
age, no age
Oh,
requirement.
okay.
It could be
Okay.
some
oh,
old
okay.
fart that plays 10 minutes off the bench, but just that
So
swing player, right? So, I was thinking for my team because I have a ton of offensive versatility. I need defensive versatility, and I'm not gonna pick like Kawhi. I'm not gonna pick, Anthony Davis. I think Bam Adebayo would be perfect for my team coming off the bench. Covering for Luka, covering for Cade. So that's my guy that really pops out in my head just because I know he can defend so many different positions. So I like Bam. Again, I know I just threw this question at you guys, and that's why I am talking here
I
to
have my
buy
answer.
you
I
guys some
have my
time.
answer. Zach, you want
Okay,
me to
Kris,
buy
you
you
go
time?
first, and then Zach after that.
you got
Listen,
it.
man, non-superstar. I only have one center. I want someone who gives me scheme
Isaiah, here he
versatility,
comes.
but who can play the five. Spicy P is not a superstar, man. I'm going with Pascal
Oh, I
Siakam.
love that pick.
Thank
Yeah, I
you,
love
sir.
that pick.
I think he would
Oh, so
complement
you're
that as
pairing up
well.
Halliburton and Siakam.
Yeah, just with actual good surrounding talent. I mean, Zach, who you got?
So I'm gonna answer this a little differently. I'm gonna keep it to 25 and under, but I'm gonna just throw out some names that fit this build. That I'm basically my second part of this, and you guys can follow it up too. I'm naming guys that fit this build, but also are guys I'd pick over a couple of the players you guys chose. Okay, so for instance, Tyler Hero, Franz, Walker Kessler, and then Jonathan Kuminga and Jalen Williams. Those guys wouldn't have made my team. I would have gone like Brandon Miller over all of them. Call me crazy on that, but I think he fits what you're explaining here, Albert, too, as a swing player. Um, I wouldn't choose this guy, but like a couple other guys that are over some of those guys. I'm not saying definitively over all of those guys, but like Trey Murphy, Herb
Mm-hmm.
Jones, and then Jeremy Sohan's too much of a reach here. Keegan Murray. I mean, he's a 3-point specialist,
That's a
but
that's the one. That's the one.
you like that? Okay,
All
So I
right,
was
Kirk
thinking
I'll
Cousins.
stick with
Keegan.
those
I,
three.
I actually like I actually like guys like Josh Hart more than Keegan. If we're talking about like the utility
It's
swing
not
player like an
crazy.
Aaron Gordon. Yeah, so no, I thought about Keegan even making my top seven being under 25, but I don't need I don't need another big guard with Luka and Cade.
Yeah, fair enough. But give me Naz Reid over Walker Kessler
Give me
all
Isaiah
day.
Nas Reed is
Hartenstein.
solid.
Isaiah Hartenstein over both this season, but I'll go Reed going forward. Naz Reid has star equity in your National Basketball Association. That's my hot take to end this one. But guys,
Like Brandon Miller, so far light years above Kaminga and Franz for me, like ceiling wise.
Whoa.
Ceiling wise.
We'll
Not
talk
right
about it.
now. Not right now.
Ceiling
That's-
maybe,
you know,
ceiling maybe,
ceiling.
but
Al, you know
ceiling
what
is
that
still
is?
just ceiling.
That's a doorknob
Yeah.
confession. You know, like you ever hear about that? You're at minute 59 of your therapy meeting, and you're like, oh, by the way, and then you walk. That's a doorknob confession from Zach, man. Listen, we're gonna get into that and more on future episodes of All Things NBA from A to Z, but that is going to do it for today's episode. If you enjoyed this draft as much as we did, leave a thumbs up, 5-star rating, a follow, put our post notifications on so you don't miss an episode, and tell us on social media who had the best team. There is ego and pride involved here. I need to know. All right. So you let us know. Keep supporting the show. Presented by Ball is Life. And for Zach Noble and Albert Nguyen, I'm KP saying thank you so much and so long.